Teacher knowledge and behavior is the component of the model that focuses on teachers' knowledge of students and content and on their expertise in classroom management and pedagogy. Teacher behavior is the element of teacher knowledge and behavior that encompasses classroom management and pedagogy. More information on this can be found in the Technology as Facilitator of Quality Education model. The students in this 8th grade science class are learning about the process of digestion. They have worked in teams to design experiments that test the effects of various foods and products on the human digestive system. The teacher demonstrates content management, an element of classroom management, in her management of a presentation session. She has each team of students present its predictions, materials, and procedures to the rest of the class. The students are encouraged to listen critically and respond constructively so that their peers can improve their experiment. The instructor models effective feedback and asks follow-up questions.
All right, first what we're going to do is we're going to have Lauren and Esther present their experiment to us, and then what we're going to do is take a look and see if we can offer any kind of feedback, because as you know, when you design your experiments, it's real easy for us to have tunnel vision because we're invested in that idea, and much easier for everybody else to be able to give us some feedback. Okay? So, Esther and Lauren, tell us what you intend to do.
Okay, our question is, what pop is the healthiest, Cherry Coke, Wild Cherry Pepsi, or Cherry 7-Up?
Yeah, we wanted to do that question because we just wanted to see, a lot of people here drink pop, and we just wanted to see what pop's healthiest and best for you. So, yeah.
And then our materials are, we're going to have 3 beakers so that we can boil off the pop so that it, we can see how much syrup is left for like the syrup. And then we're going to have 2 cans of Cherry Coke, 2 cans of Wild Cherry Pepsi, 2 cans of Cherry 7-Up, cups, hot plates, blindfold markers, and Benedict's. We're going to do the Benedict's test.
Okay, how about feedback? Now, when you do a Benedict's test, you're going to do the Benedict's test with Coke, Cherry Coke, Wild Cherry, Pepsi, and Cherry 7-Up. So they're all color drinks. Okay, how will the Benedict's test show up? Do you think it'll show up very well?
No, not the color. They use caramel for color, and we probably think that that's going to show too for the Benedict's test.
Yeah. So what do you think we might want to do instead?
You might want to use clearer pops, so then the caramel won't affect the Benedict's test at all. So pop with no color or hard.
Okay. All right. Does that sound like a good idea? All right. So then we should be able to have a clearer sense of what the Benedict's test would be. Okay? All right. Any other suggestions you can give?
The teacher demonstrates content management, part of classroom management, in her management of group in-class work. She circulates among the students and monitors them as they conduct their investigations. She helps guide the students through the steps of their experiments, making sure each group follows the correct procedures.
Okay, so what you're going to want to do is to make sure that as you're doing this, you're also writing up the lab, so you might want to get your comp books out.
My comp book's right in here. So.
Okay. So that you can be discussing some of the things that you notice. Write down your observations. Okay, so, all right, one of the probes doesn't work. All right, so let me get another probe.
What's happening? Wait.
Did you download the calibration on this one?
Yeah, we downloaded it.
Okay, let me get another probe then. Okay, are you also now making the, and so then you'll be making tables?
Seems like the exact same. Already made the table with all the information. Right.
Okay, so are you going to make a graph then from that? How did you, oh, you made the table within here, right? Okay, so now how are you going to, you're going to have to incorporate that how? Into Excel. Okay, so maybe, can you talk between the two? So Chris, maybe, maybe what you could do is make the data table in Excel and the graph, and then you can just download it here, right? Okay, you can Apple share it. And those two are pretty similar in sugar as well.
But this one is supposed to have 50, and this is supposed to have like a lot. Let's see, what was that? CRMS is only supposed to have 25.
All right, so if we...
Same serving size.
But if you look at it this way, this does have more than that.
Yeah, but you know, don't you think there should be like a bigger difference than that? 50 and
Not
26?
necessarily, because they may be deeper. Not necessarily. But you can definitely see the difference here. Yeah, that's a lot less.
After the students have completed their experiments and analyzed their data, they share their results with their classmates. The instructor's management of a presentation session again illustrates content management, an element of classroom management. The teacher empowers students to pursue and share meaningful knowledge.
All right, now what we're going to do is have two presentations. Who wants to go first with, giving us their background, predictions, the whole write-up as you have it? You ready? Okay, and like both of you, all of you, make sure that you interact. Okay? Great, because this is your experiment.
For our experiment, which kind of French fries had the most fat, and we did it just because like a lot of people eat fast food and like a lot of people like French fries, so we just did which one would be the most healthiest for people.
Yeah. And like Cheerios, we decided to test McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's fries, and we just put them in water and put them in the same size beakers and just like heated them so that the fat would all come to the top. And before we did that, we had to take the mass of the beakers alone, and then we had to take the mass of the beakers with the fries.
This is some of the data we collected, and this shows the brand of fries we used and the fat we got off of them. And so for Burger King, we got 17.5% fat, and so it had the most by far. These are the graphs for the information we have in the data tables, and this is the percentage of fat in each brand of French fry. Burger King had the most, and McDonald's, and then Wendy's. And then this is just the taste test, like compared. So green is how many people thought it was the fattiest, and red is how many people liked it best.
Liked it the best, and so McDonald's had none. I see.
The teacher also demonstrates a component of pedagogy by promoting science inquiry on the part of her students. She encourages the students to ask relevant questions, formulate working hypotheses, handle data accurately, and reach rational conclusions. She also advances the students' fundamental understandings of science by having the students conduct their own scientific investigations through lab experiments.
We tested pH or antacids and their effect on the pH of the stomach. So we used hydrochloric acid because that's what's in the stomach, so it represented the pH of the stomach. And then we put the antacid in, and we tested once per minute for 20 minutes, so we could see what the how the antacid affected the acid over time.
Right, and then we graphed it from that. We were actually testing for two things. One is which of the three antacids would get the pH at the end of the 20-minute test, which one would get the pH the highest, and which one would get it up the most in the smallest amount of time.
Okay, I have a question for Corey. Now, Corey, what did you all do, excuse me, to be sure that your probes were acclimated, that they were pretty much the same? What was the first thing that you did with your equipment?
Okay, we calibrated it, and then we put the probes in each probe into the hydrochloric acid
Without the antacid in.
without the antacid in it, to see that they were basically the same. And they were about 2 point something, which would be acidic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, so
it couldn't be, of course, it couldn't be exactly the same. They wouldn't be, all three pHs wouldn't be the same down to the last decimal point. And as long as it was each reading was about one away from the others, then it was one in pH, then it was okay.
right,
Okay.
we just needed it to be relative.
Right, and that was a very important step in that, too.
It's actually probably easier when we were looking at the raw data. It's not quite as easy to see in the graph. But what happened was Alka-Seltzer jumped in the first minute, the highest. And then eventually what happened was Rolaids jumped the least in the first minute, but eventually it climbed and it wound up getting the highest, just a little bit above the other two.